I'm Jeff Fontes, Bill Thorpe. Wednesday.
Be careful on the roads. One of the things I like about driving in early.
Yeah,
not as many people on the floor.
Yeah, there's definitely not as many.
No, not at all. It was
My
kind of crowded
goodness.
this morning, though, which I was surprised at, dark 30.
Give
rolling
yourself
in.
plenty of time out
Yep.
there. Lots
and
of accidents.
Plenty of distances between the car in front of you and yourself. Remember, always leave it up to the other idiot to be the person following too close that rear-end someone. Because guess what? When you rear-end someone, that's all on you. That is all on you as far as insurance, especially in these type of conditions. So that extra space, even if someone cuts you off, listen, it's worth it to avoid the crash, to avoid the insurance hassle. Let them be the idiot today.
All right, this hour, we're going to be joined by Mitch Morrissey. He's a fellow with the Common Sense Institute. $1.3 billion gone. How retail theft is draining Colorado's economy. And it's getting worse, guys. The theft is getting worse. Welcome to the progressive state of Colorado. The roads are terrible. The services are bad. Your taxes are high. Everything's more expensive. And now retail theft skyrocketing, which makes everything else more expensive, has a direct effect on this. All right, let's continue. We got news and comment with Blake Olson.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
Hump Day. Good morning. 28 with snow in Denver, expecting a high of 34 today. News sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at 303-777-1234 to learn more about special savings opportunities on Lennox equipment. Our top story, there will be some delays at DIA this morning as expected. A winter weather advisory issued for the Denver area until 6 tonight, expecting between 3 to 6 inches of snow in most areas, with up to 8 inches in the foothills. Douglas County with some issues. Jeff's wife reporting significant delays. So be careful out there. Take it slow. And if you're at home, make some turkey pot pie with your leftovers like Joe from Arvada.
And then once all the bones have been taken out, you got all this turkey meat. And then I just throw everything from Thanksgiving dinner in there, sweet potatoes, carrots, basically all the vegetables.
Yes, I love it. Thank you, Joe. Secretary of State Grizzy Griswold pushing back against the administration's request to share the state's voter data with the DOJ, telling them to take a hike. She says the DOJ does not have a legal right to the information. This is the lady who said that, DJT doesn't need to be on the ballot in Colorado. Guess what, lady? I wanted to vote for him, and so did a whole lot of other people. She said it has names, birth dates, addresses, and driver's license numbers. Okay. Pam Bondi says accurate voter rolls are the cornerstone of free and fair elections, and too many states are not complying with basic voter roll maintenance. The Kremlin says Russia-U.S. talks on a Ukraine peace deal have ended without a breakthrough. The discussion that included Putin, U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, of course, and Jared Kushner lasted 5 hours.
We could agree on some things, Putin's aide told reporters afterwards, but a number of proposals drew criticism from Putin. On the crucial question of territory, which Russia wants Ukraine to give up, a compromise hasn't been found yet, he says.
That's Keir Simmons from NBC. Thank you, Keir. I love listening to Keir. Russia says the work will continue. An announcement on relaxed fuel economy standards is expected today from DJT. Top executives from Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis have been invited to the White House for the event, where a rollback of Biden-era standards will reportedly be proposed by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Lawmakers take part in a classified briefing on the administration's strikes on Venezuelan boats. According to The Hill, Navy Admiral Frank Mitch Bradley will provide information on the strikes during a briefing with senior members of the Senate and House Armed Services Committee scheduled for Thursday. The U.S. has halted all immigration applications from 19 non-European countries. The Trump administration said Tuesday it was pausing all green cards and U.S. citizenship applications from the 19 countries over national security and public safety concerns, of course. Countries on the list include Afghanistan, Somalia, Venezuela, and Haiti and Iran. All right, the Canucks at the Avalanche last night. Got to cue it up here. And what happened in that thing, Lodo?
The puck, McKinnon drops it off to McCarr. And that's going to do it. As the Avalanche score 3 unanswered after Linus Karlsson had opened the scoring for Vancouver. Mackenzie Blackwood comes on in relief, gets the win.
And there you go. Avs win it 3-1, 19-1-6. They have won 2 straight. Nuggets and the Pacers tonight. Former Laker Eldon Campbell has died at the young age of 57. No cause of death reported. College football rankings out, and Ohio State, Indiana, Georgia, Texas Tech, Oregon, top 5. Ole Miss, after Lane Kiffin leaves, they're at 6, and they will try to win a national championship. I'm rooting for them. Texas A&M falls to 7. 27 in Aurora, 26 in North Glen, and 28 in Denver. You're waking up with Jeff and Bill. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
If you can't get through on the phone lines, but you want to share your perspectives, and they are on both sides of this, calling Bill ignorant, calling me ignorant, that's the text line.
Yeah. Also, when you send us a text message, give us your nickname, because
That's
just
right.
referring to you as a number is boring and dumb, and we want to give you the opportunity to choose your nickname. How many times in life do you get that opportunity to do? So we would love to do that. It makes it more personal, feels like we're having conversations with you, and we want to make you a part of the show. So yes, we've got some wonderful old school marms out there right now. We got a couple of you that need to be sending in.
Gabe has always been Gabe.
Yeah, Gabe's always been Gabe. We got Iggy, Marvin, the meat haulers out there. Yeah,
Old
Doug's
school
there.
Marm,
Yep.
Amir.
Jacqueline, Suzanne. We got
Marvin,
a lot of
the
them in
meat
here.
handler.
Yep. Four Corners Steve. So again, Westy Carlos, all in the text message this morning. We want to give you your own
Westy
name.
Carlos.
Yeah. And Bean
I love
Checkered,
it.
one of my favorite. Bean Checkered just texted in as well. So yes, give us your nickname when you text in, so you get a chance to choose. This is it. This is your moniker for when you're on the Jeff and Bill show, even through text message. So just send it to us.
Dan Caplis Law text line 720-819-5115. Speaking of Danny C., Dan suggests you should choose a lawyer who shares your values, because who you choose to represent you in an injury case says a lot about you to everyone involved in the case. Dan Caplis is the son of a police officer and a former seminarian who's dedicated the last 40 years of his life to helping people who've been hurt in serious motor vehicle crashes. Dan is believed to be the only lawyer in Colorado history to win 5 straight multi-million-dollar verdicts in Colorado crash cases. Dan is also believed to have won the largest truck crash verdict in Colorado state history. Dan Caplis Law is the official law firm partner of the Denver Nuggets and the Colorado Avalanche. Dan Caplis Law is a serious firm for serious cases. Dan accepts righteous injury cases on a percentage fee basis so that he can represent good people from all walks of life without regard to ability to pay. So if you need Dan's help, give him a call. Here's the phone number, 303-770-5551. 303-770-5551 or hit dancaplisLaw.com. That's Dan, C-A-P-L-I-S Law.com. Our friends over at the Common Sense Institute out with a new study. 1.3 billion gone. How retail theft is draining Colorado's economy. This is fantastic, nonpartisan, just the facts, ma'am research. Joining us now to provide insight is the great Mitch Morrissey, now the Owens Early Criminal Justice Fellow with the Common Sense Institute. Mitch, thanks for taking time to join the Jeff and Bill Show.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. I usually come out there in person, but not today.
No,
I
stay
don't
home.
blame you. I don't blame you. There's a lot of kids sitting in classrooms wishing they could be at home too. Mitch, what did you guys find out in this report?
Well, we found out something that we've looked at over the course of the past few years, and that is the Colorado economy is really suffering due to the increase in what some people call shoplifting. But, obviously this is organized retail theft. This is groups, this is rings of theft organizations that are involved in real substantial loss in merchandise from different types of stores out there. Obviously, you have the big stores in the metro area, so you have most of this concentrated in the Front Range in about 10 counties. But statewide, it's costing the people of Colorado an awful lot of money. And we saw a huge increase in these shoplifts in 2022 through 2024, about a 22% increase.
And when you talk about organized, help me understand, is that like the mob that's organizing this? Or what does organized retail theft look like?
Well, it's a group of people, usually what we were finding when I was in the DA's office, fueled by narcotics. So, for instance, a need for methamphetamine. It would be a ring that would send out shoplifters every day to different stores, steal usually the misdemeanor amount. And that's the other place that we've kind of got in trouble in Colorado is we've increased that felony threshold to, there's only 2 states with a higher felony threshold than Colorado. That's $2,000. So anything below $2,000 is going to be a misdemeanor. And of course, if you get caught with a misdemeanor, it's virtually nothing. The other thing that we found is that about 85% of these shoplifts go unreported. So this loss is far greater than what our report is showing. But we show a loss of $1.3 billion, and then part of this whole thing in these rings is that you engage in return fraud and other kinds of scams once you have the merchandise, once you've successfully taken it. And we're seeing about $1.4 billion in loss in those kinds of scams. So they really are organized crime. And in Denver, when we get a big ring like this, we would use the COCA statute or the RICO statute, establish that they were an organized crime group. And then, of course, it had an awful lot of, class 2 felonies when we could show that. And so I think that some people just misunderstand what shoplifting is doing, but it's putting a lot of small merchants out of business in the state, loss of jobs, and of course the state itself is losing that tax revenue that it gets when it makes sales, when people buy things legitimately. Everybody is talking about affordability these days. Well, obviously when Home Depot has to put a Denver police officer who's off duty and pay him to sit where they check out, when they have to have surveillance tapes, all of that, all around the store and everything, that is passed on to the customer. The merchants are not losing this money. They're going to pass this all on to the customers of Colorado.
That's exactly right. That voice that you're hearing is Mitch Morrissey. He's the Owens Early Criminal Justice Fellow. And Mitch, what you just said there reminded me of one of the best lines I ever heard from Paul Pazin when he was on our show, which was, we either lock up the criminals or we lock up ourselves. If we don't lock up the criminals that are engaging in the theft, well, now you've got stores where you can't buy a razor without finding somebody to unlock the little shelf for you. So we either lock up the
Yep.
criminals or we lock up ourselves. I thought that was a very insightful line. Your thoughts, sir?
Well, when you go to Home Depot, for instance, which I do a lot, there are entire aisles that have locked gates on the merchandise. And those types of, and I talked to those people that investigate the thefts from Home Depot, and they said they don't even open an investigation unless it's $1 million loss or more. But the reason they have those gates, because there are certain things that these thieves like to steal. They have more value out on the street. Things like electronic, power drills, those types of things that are all battery and charged. That type of item is what they're looking for, so they lock those up. When they lock up the power tools, then they steal all the accessories that go with those power tools. And these are groups that come in a number of them. They'll hit a store, they'll steal a certain level. They're well-versed in the crime. They're well-versed in how much to steal, don't steal over this amount, and then they hit another store when they go from there. And so they're risk adverse when it comes to getting caught because they don't want to be looking at the more serious time. So what the Colorado legislature did was it raised that threshold for it to become a felony. You have to steal a certain amount. That's $2,000. The other thing that they did was they lowered the penalty. So what used to be a Class 4 felony is now a Class 6 felony. So the max is 18 months, even if you do steal over $2,000. So what they've done is made this type of crime pay. It really does pay to be one of these thieves. You can steal lots of this stuff. You can try to fence it. We've found that a lot of fencing goes on social media platforms where they don't investigate if what's being sold there between the people on the platform are stolen or not. So there's an outlet to sell the items. And what we saw and what we talked to people that do this work, some incredible stories. They showed us footage, actually, of what looked like a Home Depot, which was set up in a warehouse in California. And they said the only thing that was different, it was all stolen items. And they said the only thing that was different was they didn't have a garden section. Otherwise, you would have thought you were walking into a Home Depot. And everything on the shelf was stolen. Now, it's interesting. I wonder what they do to prevent people from hitting them and stealing from them. But the whole thing was a black market warehouse. And, those are the kinds of things they can tell you, that they can show you. But what our report tells you and shows you is that Colorado needs to do something about these organized groups that are engaged in this theft.
That's Mitch Morrissey, former district attorney, now at the Common Sense Institute. He is the Owens Early Criminal Justice Fellow, talking to us about $1.3 billion in retail theft and how that drains the Colorado economy. Now, we did talk about the punishment side of things, but I found it very interesting when you were talking about Home Depot and the fact that they don't investigate unless it's more than $1 million. Now, this is just kind of, spitballing, kind of a side conversation, but if the retailer isn't worried about the theft to the point where they're not going to investigate who's taking the stuff, that their way of preventing this is just to create gates and passwords and people with keys, is it really that much of a concern? And what I mean by that is if the retailers are not making ending retail theft a priority to the point where they're not going to investigate anything you steal more than $1 million, aren't they in some ways telling the thieves, well, this is how much you can steal? Just like with the criminal punishment, that when we raised the limit and then lowered the punishment, it was making crime profitable. Aren't the retail entities as well making crime profitable in this area?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think one of the most startling statistics in our report is that 89% of shoplifts go unreported. So it's kind of like this is, we just have to put up with this. Somebody comes in, steals these things, runs out the door without paying. That's just the cost of doing business. The problem with that, the problem with the cost of doing business is you're paying the cost. When they lose that much money, a certain amount, they're passing that on to their customers.
Yeah, that's
So
exactly right.
I
Because
think
if they have a loss of like 5% or 10%, or they have a loss of 15%, they need to make up that margin on the other end, and the only way to do that is to raise prices. That's where you're absolutely right. That's how they get that money back. That's why they're okay with that stuff walking out the door, because they've already priced in the loss into what you are paying legally for the rest of the stuff.
Right. And now, obviously, they would like to prevent this theft, and they do take steps to do that. But don't kid yourself that you're not paying for that. But, there's also a lot of other factors that we looked in, like loss of jobs, loss of employment, the loss, again, like I mentioned, the $78 million loss in sales tax revenue. So the state is losing money. The stores are losing money, but passing that on to the customers. So, there's jobs lost. There's companies there are stores that just go out of business because they cannot regulate the theft that's going on. We talked to one small merchant, and he said, when I get hit, I could go online and I could find what was stolen from me, and what they were selling it for was less than what I could pay wholesale to buy it, work in the profit margin and everything, and try to put it on the shelves to sell. I think these people don't understand how big these operations are. They are international. Some of these products will end up out of the United States. A lot of them will end up out of the state of Colorado. And then when they go in, they bust these fences that buy all of these stolen goods. They're buying them for pennies on the dollar, and they'll find semi-trucks and warehouses full of stolen items. And sometimes it's hard, based on what the merchants do, to even show where they are stolen from, because they're not investing in good systems when it comes to their inventory. I think Home Depot's gotten better at that, and some of these other large retailers. But this is really a big problem that nobody really talks about until we did this study.
That's Mitch Morrissey. Mitch is with the Common Sense Institute. Mitch, you also broke this down by county. Let's talk what's happening in Adams County. Goodness, you think that a majority of the theft may be coming from Denver County just based upon population, but Adams County takes the top spot. What's happening out there?
Adams County takes the top spot. Then I believe Jefferson County and Denver, we're seeing some growth there as far as Denver and Jefferson County go. But really, this is confined to 10 counties on the Front Range, and they're the counties with the largest retail centers. So obviously, these kinds of thieves are going to go to places where they can steal the best, where they can steal the most. And so if you're in a rural county, way out east, you probably don't even have the kind of store that would be a target. So Adams County happens to have a lot of these types of places. There's a lot of growth going on out there. There's a lot of centers opening up out there. And so I really think that's why Adams County leads in this area. I do know the DA in Adams County. And, I know he utilizes the organized crime statutes when he runs into these rings. We saw it with what he did initially when he went after those car thieves out there at DIA. It took the Adams County DA to do that. And he indicted about 40 people, and he used the organized crime statutes for that. Brian Mason knows what he's doing. And so I think that when these people get caught, he will utilize those statutes. But there is an initiative out there that may be on the ballot, if they get enough signatures, to actually go in and reorganize these theft statutes in Colorado. Put some mandatory minimums on these types of offenders. It's Initiative 155. If you get an opportunity to sign that petition to get it on the ballot. The interesting thing, I've been doing this for a few years for the Common Sense Institute, and I find that oftentimes our legislature is out of step with the people of the state of Colorado and what they want to see happen around law enforcement. Best example of that is those law enforcement initiatives that all passed in the last time we had an initiative election. I think this would pass also. I don't know about the legislature, if we could get some work done there, but somebody needs to address this problem in the state of Colorado.
That's Mitch Morrissey. He's the Owens Early Criminal Justice Fellow, former DA of the County of Denver. City of Denver? County of Denver? Both?
City and County of Denver.
And County of Denver.
Second Judicial District of the state of Colorado.
Great experience with all of this. And this report, which you can find at commonsenseinstituteus.org, commonsenseinstituteus.org, click on Colorado, is fantastic. It dives into the shoplifting crime by year. It gets down to the county level. It even analyzes the dollar distribution of shoplifting. So you see that they're aiming at that $100 to $124 mark because they know it's not going to trigger some of the worst penalties. So this organized crime aiming there, as well as they provide recommendations, policy recommendations on how to turn this around. It's absolutely fantastic research. Nobody does this better in Colorado than the Common Sense Institute. Go to commonsenseinstituteus.org. Don't just research, also donate and support the great work that they're doing there. You all guys also have some events coming up. There's a Starter Home Initiative Housing Summit coming up December 17th. So if you want to dive into housing affordability issues, they'll be taking care of that. Mitch, you guys always do great work. We appreciate you taking time to join the Jeff and Bill Show.
Yes, thank you so much.
Hey, gentlemen, thank you for having me on. I think you guys really do nail it when it comes to these kind of issues. I appreciate your support, and hopefully our listeners will pay attention to this, especially if it comes up on the ballot for them to vote on in 2026-27.
That is the number one thing the audience of Jeff and Bill should be taking away, that this is information provided to us by the Common Sense Institute to better inform your choices here in Colorado at the ballot box and elsewhere. That is perfect.
Thank you, Mitch. All right,
yes, thank you.
Let's talk Black Eyed Pea of Colorado. I can't think of anything better right now than going to sit, enjoy nice, good comfort food at the Black Eyed Pea of Colorado, locally owned and run by Steve and Michelle. I love this restaurant. My whole family does. With 8 locations, there's sure to be one near you. This week, make it a point to take your family out to eat at the Black Eyed Pea restaurant or have it DoorDash delivered. Do you ever feel guilty ordering food delivered on a day like today, Bill?
No, not really, because no, and here's the reason why. Because I had a friend, and then I spent a very, very brief time delivering pizzas, and weather sucked. And so that was kind of thing. But we were old OG. You know, this is back in the old days when Domino's was promising 30-minute delivery, and you had to break every single speed law you possibly could in order to get stuff there on time. So I have a little bit. The thing for me is that I don't really think about it because I won't pay for DoorDash or Uber Eats. I'm not going to pay somebody to go get my food and then drive it back to my house. I've been doing that for years. I'm not going to pay you the extra amount.
You're the Thorpe family delivery boy yourself.
Oh, huh? I am. In fact, I call my car. I'm just Thorpe Uber. That's all it is. It's okay. Now, on a side note here, just the number of times people in my family throughout the day, because they know when I'm out driving around, I'm free during the day, send me things. Hey, can you go to the store and get this? Yes, I become errand boy for my wife and the kids often. In fact, I've got 2 texts this morning about stuff I'm supposed to get at the store going home. They don't give a damn it's snowing outside. Don't care.
We live so far out in the sticks, there's no home delivery, period, of anything.
I didn't even think about that.
Nothing where we live. We can't even get a pizza.
That is fantastic because you can tell the kids, sorry, kids, can't do that.
We're eating at home.
Yeah.
But
I want to get a
Black Eyed Pea
today.
Swing by, grab some food there, or have it DoorDashed. Everything's made from scratch. Some home-style favorites. Here you go. All right, it's cold outside. Snow's falling. You ready for some mile-high meatloaf?
Ooh.
How about glazed ham steak? Slow-cooked pot roast? All served with 2 sides and their signature fresh-baked rolls. That I'll break the diet on. They have great burgers and sandwiches. They have fresh seafood. They have homemade soups and tasty salads. They've got daily specials and senior discounts. The Black Eyed Pea has what you're hungry for. Your dinner party, rehearsal dinner, wedding reception, or company event will be a success with Black Eyed Pea catering. And Black Eyed Pea gift cards are always perfect for your spouse, birthday favors, or holiday presents, or as a thank you to someone special. Get them a gift card. I love everything about this restaurant. I know you will as well. Keep it in Colorado. Visit the Black Eyed Pea near you, blackeyedpeacolorado.com.
I have got the way for listeners of the Jeff and Bill Show to be heroes today. What you're doing is middle of the afternoon. You're going to jump on the old Google machine, whatever the search engine is you're going to use. You're going to go search for the Black Eyed Pea. You're going to find the one that is closest to you, and then you are going to place a takeout order for dinner. You are going to show up after this messy, snowy, awful, stressful Wednesday. You're going to roll home and have dinner ready to go. Need to throw it into the oven. It's 300, 350 to make it keep warm for a while until everybody else rounds up and gets into the house. That's fine. But you have eliminated the stress. Think about it. All the stuff you've been going through today, even just listening to the show, you could use a stress reliever. So go to the Black Eyed Pea website this afternoon, pre-order dinner, swing by, pick it up on the way home. Bada bing, bada boom. It's taken care of, and you're the hero. Yeah, do it this afternoon.
Colorado dealing with a $1.3 billion drain as a result of retail theft, organized crime, ripping apart our state, taking tax dollars, making everything more expensive, costing jobs as well. Is this more of the Democrat pro-crime position where we got to make sure that no one ever spends any time behind bars because that would be terrible? Meanwhile, the rest of us suffer. Give us a call. Tell us what's going on. 303-696-1971. And here's what I'd really love to hear. Have you had to deal with retail theft? Have you had to confront that shoplifter? And what was that like? 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law Text line, 720-819-5115. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. We're going to get to the phone lines. Dwayne and Divide, you're up next. We're talking Coloradans facing $1.3 billion in taxes, employment, and total lost costs as a result of retail theft. This isn't just middle school kids shoplifting. This is organized retail theft. They know exactly what the numbers are that they can't get caught stealing, but it's costing us $1.3 billion. All right. Let's talk Gyrie's. Gyrie's all throughout Denver. Absolutely fantastic company. Every day I wake up and I look at our blinds, and they're amazing. They're the best blinds we've ever had because we used to have those cheap blinds that you buy on the internet.
Now you know this happens, and
you self-install them and they break.
Oh God, yeah, and especially when they turn and they snap off, and so you got this one gap, so it looks like you've lost a tooth, and you're just like. Now here's the thing, Jeff. You got to kind of focus on this a little bit. That think about the number of years and all the days that you spent looking at those crappy blinds, going, good enough. Yeah, but now the difference that it makes not only in how happy your family is because they're remote controls and kids love anything on a remote control, but also just how it completes the room because you talk to the Gyrie's professionals and they didn't just say, hey, maybe you're not picking something off the shelf. They said, no, with your decor, the colors in your room, and what you need them to do, this is going to make the most sense.
Absolutely fantastic experience. We got to sit down with a professional designer. It's not crazy expensive. They showed us an incredible selection of Hunter Douglas custom blinds, shades, and shutters. I was a little overwhelmed at first, but the designer was the real pro. She walked us through everything and helped us find the perfect options to enhance the look and functionality of our space. So whether your curtains are clashing or you just want a fresh look, Gyrie's has the solutions for you. Their designers are the experts, and they can help you with everything from window treatments to full room decor. Here's the best part. They offer a personalized in-home consultation. They come directly to you. So you can get the same expert advice right in your own home. Do yourself a favor. Get started today. Visit Gyrie's.com to schedule your in-home consultation. GUIRYS.com. Go see the great people at Gyrie's. You'll be sure to thank me. All right, let's go to the phone lines. Dwayne, Divide. Good morning, Dwayne. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Oh,
Good morning, gentlemen.
I think it's Ice Station Dwayne, isn't it? You guys are up there. In the Divide.
It's Ice Station Zebra.
Yes.
Yeah, we're five degrees below zero. I didn't get a chance to tell Bill that.
Oh,
but yeah.
Ow. My,
and our wind chill's a little much.
Oh, there are parts of my body that are cold just hearing that.
Yeah, well,
So
feel my pain.
Dwayne, when I meet people from Divide, I specifically ask them if they know you, and they're like, "You don't know how Divide is. We all live far away from each other, and we don't like to know who's there." Yeah, exactly.
Now they know my son. I mean, he could be the unofficial mayor of Divide, but me, not so much.
Oh,
they look at me with that look-alike. Kind of rotten egg smell, but he's still funny. So anyway, we go from there. As far as retail sales and everything, I worked part-time years ago at one of these warehouse stores. And in 1 year, they lost $1,400,000.
Wow.
And the manager kept his job.
Wow, that's crazy.
Well, 89%, Dwayne. Mitch Morrissey was telling us 89% of shoplifting and retail theft's not even reported.
Well, I'm sure. Now, another time I was visiting a lady friend of mine. She worked at a store that dispensed adult beverages. And this guy ran in saying that he wanted to rob the place. So I took a pen out of my pocket, stuck it into the barrel of his gun, and I said, "Shoot me." And he goes, "What?" I said, "Yes, go ahead, shoot me." I said, "End my life. I want you to kill me. I want you to spend the rest of your life for murder, capital murder, because you're robbing a place." In the meantime, she's calling the sheriff's department. And as I got my pen inside the barrel, he says, "I'm going to shoot you." And I said, "I can't wait for the blowback." And he's standing there going, "What?" I said, "The gun will blow up in your hand." And I said, "Then you're going to be horribly disfigured." And I said, "And you're still going to go to jail for life." In the meantime, I said, "Just go to your knees, keep the gun in your hand, because I don't want the cops to shoot me by mistake." And when they arrived, he sat there and he goes, "He's insane. He wanted me to shoot him. He wanted me to shoot him." And they looked at me and it was like, "Dwayne, are you bothering the criminals now?" I said, "Well, all the people in Divide know who I am." And we just kind of went from there.
Dwayne, you're like a real Clint Eastwood. Make my day, punk.
Well, no, just one of those things. If you scare somebody out of their comfort zone, and as you guys well know, when you go to talk to possible new clients, you want to be kind of warm, but you want to be also kind of like, we'd like you to come on and join us. But if you don't want to, we have other people who'd like to come in and work with you. Same thing. You just sit there and make them an offer they can't figure out.
You are a hoot, Dwayne Divide. I sure appreciate it. Thanks so much for the call. Dwayne's line is open if you want to join the conversation at 303-696-1971. All right, let's talk advanced hair restoration. If you're losing it, desire to have it back, Advanced Hair Restoration has the easiest guaranteed solution. Their simple one-day treatment offers life-changing results. I've seen it with my own eyes. Guys, it's not magic, but close to it. They put hair where you need it the most, and bam, it grows. It's actually science. Advanced Hair has it all. Top-rated Dr. Tanya Paul's modern technology, and best of all, you get your own natural hair that begins regrowing the very next day. Advanced Hair even guarantees it will grow for life. So schedule your free consultation now, 720-459-HAIR. If you qualify, you'll get $250 off, 250 free hair grafts. Advanced Hair is the winner of Westward's Best of Denver and has changed the lives of tens of thousands of people. So don't wait. Check out the before and afters online for yourself, 720-459-HAIR, 720-459-HAIR. AdvancedHair.com. That's AdvancedHair.com. We'll continue with your phone calls and texts. Colorado's losing $1.3 billion annually because of retail theft. The conversation will continue. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Bill, we're talking $1.3 billion gone. How retail theft is draining Colorado's economy. It affects our taxes. It affects employment. It affects all of our costs. As everything gets accounted for, and there's that response. If only, Mr. Thorpe, there was a way when kids were young to maybe put something on the wall that said, thou shalt not steal. I don't know.
That's good.
I'm just a little bit of a crazy religious social conservative nut.
I like that.
But
where I'm sitting on it, I look at the idea that if the retailers are not worried about investigating it and they have rolled in the loss already into the prices they're charging you and I, then we're never going to stop this. There's no way you ever will, because if the retailer...
Eternal punishment and damnation is how you started. An all-seeing God, or stop it, an all-seeing God knows what you do.
Yeah, but I don't think it's necessarily, even through the Bible, the all-seeing God. We had a whole bunch of people doing bad things even then. And what bothers me is a lack of enforcement on the retailer side, because if they don't care about investigating the theft until it rises to $1 million, as former DA Mitch Morrissey, now with
Common Sense
Institute. Thank you. I almost did Independence. That was not good. That's a John Caldera one. Thank you. Brain fart there. So he's with the Common Sense Institute. When you're looking at over $1 billion in theft and they're not even going to investigate it before $1 million, it is the retailer telling you, the average customer, they don't care who steals from them, and unless it's a real lot of money that can seriously eat into their profits, they don't care.
Because they don't want to be sued by the bad guys.
They've
Bill,
already rolled into it.
You're excusing the criminals and blaming the shops again. Unbelievable.
I'm not excusing the criminals. Criminals shouldn't be doing it, but the idea is you need to enforce it. The shops need to enforce the idea you don't steal from them. Because if you had your front doors open the entire time and left your cars unlocked, and then you start complaining about the fact that people are coming around taking your stuff, well, there is a little bit of an onus on you as well.
You know what would help your house? A gun from the gun room.
Oh, that would help.
Love these guys.
Especially put pictures up on the front door and say, found inside, held by owner. Yeah.
Go to the gun room. It's in Lakewood. It's one of the oldest, if not the oldest, gun shop in Colorado. These folks are true Colorado people. They know firearms. They know safety. They take time to walk you through what's right for you. So whether you're new to shooting, looking to expand your collection, or want expert guidance from people who actually care, the gun room is the place. And with the holidays coming up, just get a gift card to the gun room. It's an absolute home run. Trust me on this one. Stop in, browse their selection of new and used firearms, or just ask questions. They love helping people. Give them a call. They'll pick up the phone and talk you through any of your questions. 303-237-1300, 303-237-1300. It's the Gun Room in Lakewood. Check them out at denvergunroom.com, and you know it's harder and harder than ever in Colorado to keep a true, genuine, honest gun shop open. You try to follow all the rules. Some of those guys heading to Wyoming, Montana, they're done trying to deal with Colorado. So the good ones that are willing to stick around, you got to go support them this Christmas holiday season. Go to the Gun Room, denvergunroom.com, denvergunroom.com. Bill, what a show.
Yeah, this is insane. This is great.
From
so many text messages.
Donald Trump and Somali garbage to the Colorado lottery, now available on credit cards.
What could go wrong? Buying lotto tickets on credit.
Golly. And $1.3 billion in retail theft happening. Colorado needs to change the direction. If you ask me, we'll start with the listeners of 710 KNUS. Good people there. We appreciate you all being a part of today's show. If you missed any of it, go to 710knus.com. You've been listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
As Peter Boyle says, stay close to a warm radio. We're KNUS.